I mean, what do you guys feel? That's just my initial take. The first film's incredible. The second one's amazing, and everybody loves it except for the crazies in the world. And then the third one just has to be good, right? Tom Cruise is 61.
Oh, well,
he's turning 62 this year. This July, he's turning 62. He's an old boy.
Yeah, he is.
Just over here blushing.
Well, I have a daughter now. As she starts learning words,
that is you.
Yeah.
You're thinking about all this because you're thinking about your daughter.
Well, as she starts learning words, we're not going to be able to watch anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got to be careful what you turn on.
Exactly. Welcome back to the wacky, wonderful Wiseworks podcast, all you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs. Happy New Year, everybody.
It's a new year.
Season 15. We're rolling up our sleeves and getting our hands dirty in this new brand year of 2024. This is going to be a full year of probably more stinkers. And a lot of probably good stuff as well. All right, a lot of good films, a lot of bad films, good shows, bad shows. Unfortunately, the biggest downside to this year is that we're not going to have another Chris Nolan film this year.
No, you don't think?
Okay.
I don't know. I said you think.
You don't think he's going to pull one out of his butt in 6 months?
We're getting another Denis Villeneuve film.
We are, which was supposed to come out last year, but at least we
didn't get last year.
We're getting in March.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
I mean, we have a long roster of films that are going to be coming out. That is going to be it's going to make a very interesting year. Let me just reminisce real quick on some of these films that we've listed, or at least the highly anticipated ones, right? You got like Mean Girls, Madam Web, Dune Part 2, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, Godzilla and Kong, New Empire. Not interested in that one. Fall Guy, Garfield, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Ballerina, Inside Out 2, The Quiet Place, Day One. Maybe that'll be fun. Despicable Me, Deadpool 3, Borderlands, Kraven the Hunter, Beetlejuice 2, Transformers 1. I don't know what that means. Joker 2. That's going to be a good one. And we also, Lord of the Rings, Riders of the Rohirrim is coming out this year. So there are some really good ones, and there are some other ones. And then there's some that we don't even know about yet. So it's going to be a fun year. As far as you guys go, any interesting updates around your entertainment that we should be aware of?
No.
Any recommendations?
Hard Target.
What's Hard Target?
Hard Target is a late 80s, early 90s. I think it's 90s. John Woo film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And it is just...
is this what you guys were watching the other day when I walked in?
When you walked... Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
This morning... Ethan starts fighting me, and he goes, "I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme."
Van Damme, yeah. It was like just pure, unadulterated action.
Good.
Like it was awesome. It wasn't like it kind of felt like Roadhouse.
Yeah,
good time.
But John Woo has a filming style that's clearly comes from sort of the older Asian films, the older Hong Kong films. And so it felt
like Kill Bill.
Almost. It had that very sort of movie action quality, with a little bit of maybe some sort of anime like scenes, like where the bad guy's coat,
like Kill Bill.
The bad guy's coat catches on fire and he flings it off, and it was the actual actor in that coat, which was super cool. It was awesome that he did that stunt. And man, it's just
a good time.
It's just a really good time.
Okay. So we'll take what's it called?
Hard Target.
Hard Target. That's the recommendation. I'm going to recommend this. All right.
Yeah. So we're recommending.
So everybody who missed the Lost series,
Mm.
I recommend you watch it.
You talked about this a little bit last season, but
we finished
you're
it.
reiterating that.
We finished it.
Okay.
The ending is different than what the rumor is. Okay. So I heard a much different rumor.
Yeah.
About what the ending is, and it's not quite it. So and I don't want to spoil it because I'm recommending people watch it, but go check out Lost. All right. You should watch it. The early couple seasons are hard to get through because it's just constant mystery boxes. But
well, the reason
the
reason I stopped watching Lost was because it became it's also the reason I stopped watching The Walking Dead is it became each season, each episode became who's gonna die?
Okay.
Who's gonna die this season? Right? And
I would say
I
The
hate
Walking
when
Dead's a
shows
little bit
become
more
that. Even Game of Thrones did that a bit. It's like who's gonna die this season?
right.
Towards the end. And I don't like that. I don't like watching a show or a movie and it's and that's what people are curious afraid of. It's like, oh, is my favorite character gonna die?
Right.
So
you're right. There is a bit of that aspect. However, I think that there's enough story there to where you expect characters are going to die because the nature of the story said a lot do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot. So and it plays well into the endings. So I think you should check it out. I mean, you're right in some fashion. I think The Walking Dead does it more egregiously. But Lost, you should check it out. It was a cultural phenomenon for its time, and it's not half bad. You all should check it out.
And I was kind of afraid of that with like Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan's very similar to those types of TV shows where it's a lot of high octane action and drama and horror.
Yeah.
And it had a large cast of characters with their own, each kind of having their own unique story. But I'm glad they didn't lean into that who's going to die this season mentality. So,
any recommendations from you, Joshua? I've been watching Killers of the Flower Moon.
You've been watching? So like
it's a long film. I haven't
finished a long movie.
I got a little more than halfway done with it last night.
Yeah, what'd you think so far?
It's a lot.
Give us a
I'll say this. Okay. We're talking about 3-hour films here, okay?
Yeah.
It's interesting to tell this story, but it doesn't need 3 hours.
Okay.
And the difference between that and Chris Nolan.
Would you say you're into it like 1/3, 3/4 the way through?
I think probably I'm flirting with 2/3 of the film is done. Okay. And I'm just gonna say this: Chris Nolan's Oppenheimer, 3 hours long, holds you at attention for those 3 hours. Okay.
No.
Yes, it does. It holds you at attention. This film does not. This film requires you to focus and to stay focused, which is not a problem. It's meant to keep. It's meant for you to give to the film as much as the film is giving to you. Okay, but a 3-hour, make sure you're holding focus and not getting distracted at any point during this film. It's a bit harder to do than with Oppenheimer. All right, just gonna say it.
I disagree, but okay.
What's your where you standing on like the acting?
Oh, very good. I don't think it's Leonardo's best role.
Good.
If you're 2/3 of the way through, you haven't gotten to the good part of Leo yet.
Whatever. I think
He kills it at the end. He kills it at the end. You gotta. We'll have a conversation about
different
that
than that. Cillian Murphy is incredible the whole way through the film. Why does it have to be the best thing he's ever done? Is at the end of the film? He should be that role. The whole film should be the best thing
till the
end.
Done. Wait till it's over, and then come back to me.
Josh's recommendation.
I guess Killers. Where are you watching it? Where are you watching it?
It's on Apple TV Plus. It just dropped for streaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm real excited about Napoleon. Napoleon should be dropping there pretty soon, I think, as well. But yeah, that's all you have to recommend, Joshua? Just Killers, The Flower Moon in general?
In 2024, do more Hobbit things. That's what I'm recommending. Garden a little bit more. Sit out on the porch and enjoy yourself a nice
pipe tobacco
pint or a little bit of pipe tobacco,
long leaf,
and just enjoy and relax your 2024. Don't let life pass you by because you're working too hard.
Yeah, turn off Andrew Huberman. Turn off.
Everybody doesn't need to be
Joe
on this
Rogan.
grind.
Turn off Joe Rogan. Turn off. Who's the guy?
Jordan
David
Peterson.
Goggins.
David Goggins.
Oh,
turn
David
all these
Goggins.
fellas off for 2020.
Yeah, Cameron Haynes.
Yeah, turn off. You don't need them for this year. What you need is some pipe tobacco and some beer.
What
okay.
People have been feeling like Bilbo. Butter spread across too much toast.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's what people have been feeling like these past few years. We need to
chunk up our butter a little bit.
Yeah.
When I get off this podcast, I'm going to sit on the back porch and we're going to relax. Why? It's going to be a good day.
Maybe get less bread.
Right.
People are always saying, I got to get that bread. I got to get more bread. Maybe get less bread.
Well,
because
on the bread,
you got a limited amount of butter, unless your butter to bread ratio is equal. Don't.
Well, that's what I'm recommending.
Get less bread. Get less bread.
Enjoy yourself.
Turn off Cameron Haynes.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any
getting after it?
Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions?
They're all boring and YouTube related, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna keep my physical health up. So I'm not taking Joshua's recommendation this year necessarily.
Well,
but,
it's the recommendation is
relax. That is physical health.
Yeah, don't exercise, but don't we don't need to be on this grind all the time.
I mean that's what I'm recommending. Yeah.
It's good to grind, but every once in a while that grind needs to turn into a coarse whetstone, and then a fine whetstone, and then a diamond sharpener, and then a fine diamond sharpener, and then you need the ceramic rod, and then you need the strop, and then you just strop and you stay fine.
But if we're being real honest, what if you have to finish the season you're in before you move to the next one? You know what I mean? And sometimes finishing the season is 100% dependent on how hard you grinded. And you'll never leave the grinding era unless you truly grind. You might feel like you're grinding, but you're not dropping it all the way to the floor. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You might feel like you're grinding, but that's just the hardest you've ever grinded. To get to the next step, you have to grind past your expectation or what you believe to be a grind.
But eventually you got to pour out those coffee beans and make the coffee.
Oh yeah. Well,
but if the coffee beans aren't fully
great, but
what's the first bit we got, Joshua? Let's roll right into it.
Speaking of rolling, we're not going to be rolling today. We're going to be flying. We're going to be flying into the next Tom Cruise movie. Well, maybe not the next, because we've got Mission Impossible Part 2. But go past this because I can't stand that white line. That's distracting me. So if you want to briefly just read the beginning of the article that I have pulled up, basically, you can read it. Tom. According to
Puck, the studio has tapped Maverick co-writer Kieran Kruger, to work on a script for the high-flying threequel. Once again, uniting Cruise with his previous co-star Miles Teller and Glenn Powell. Remember how Glenn Powell was also part of the Top Gun mania before all the Sydney Sweeney stuff went down. That's true, actually. Yeah, because him and Sydney Sweeney were in a film together. Everyone's all about Sydney Sweeney, and I think it was like a sexy, sexy film or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But they're talking
What's
about
this movie
Hangman.
called?
They're talking about Hangman. This is we're talking about we're getting a third Top Gun, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, and this is not surprising, but yet it is a little bit. You know,
Top Gun 3 is
Maverick.
flying into existence.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick did phenomenal. It did way better than they expected. People loved it. And so the studio can't pass up a third one. We all don't want them to, but maybe, do you think, the question that I think we should discuss is more of like, do you think they can make a third one and make it enjoyable? We
Yes.
said maybe not with the second one, but it was super enjoyable.
Yes, they can. Definitely. I believe they can. And I believe it will be one of the best films. I don't know if it'll be as good as Maverick, but I do ideally hope it's possible. And I believe it can be possible, right? I mean, what do you guys feel? That's just my initial take. The first film's incredible. The second one's amazing. And everybody loves it except for the crazies in the world. And then the third one just has to be good, right?
Yeah, it would be interesting to have the Top Gun trilogy.
It would be interesting.
I do want another script, but they have to put all their eggs in the basket and give it everything they got because, and I'm not saying Tom Cruise doesn't, but I don't want them to make two fantastic films and then a third one that kind of sucks.
All right, so it kind of sounds like here in Kruger or whatever. I'm going to check to make sure he's the writer of the first one as well. But it sounds like him in combination with Tom Cruise just makes a really good duo, right?
Yeah. Well, Tom Cruise and a lot of people, Tom Cruise just gives it all he's got.
Well, let's speculate a little bit. What do you guys think a third movie's going to be about?
So
is it just going to be another mission?
I mean,
okay, how did Maverick end? Remind me.
They went on their mission, and Tom had to go save Miles.
No, basically. But where were they left off? Like as
on
characters? Is Tom's character still at the academy teaching kids, or what are we doing here?
Yes, yeah,
probably,
yeah.
So we're picking up with him being an instructor still. It has to be. They have to probably lean into more advancement with unmanned crafts a little bit more. I feel like the way the world's going, that's almost unavoidable, right?
Ooh, that would be interesting. I think
they touched on it with Maverick.
Yes, do something like that where it's more of still the teaching, and don't try to step away and make it like, we got a lot of movies like, Fast and Furious where they were trying to do something with the first couple. It's like car movies, and then they made them somehow superheroes by like the fourth one or third one.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen? This is a decent theory if you're trying to keep the story simple. So they're going to have to really go hard on making this awesome if they keep it this simple, okay? So there is an enemy, all right? There's an enemy that has a small fleet of unmanned AI-driven aircraft, right? And there's like an attack plan or something, so we counter it by attacking first.
Yeah.
We don't have the technology yet, right? So they call on Tom Cruise and they say, hey, if there's any chance of we could possibly stop this from happening, you're our man. You know what I mean?
Well,
so he has to fight these AI-driven planes. Maybe.
Here would be this would like a good way to, I think, open up a movie would be for you to have maybe some of your legacy pilots in the air, maybe like from some of the previous class, and they're maybe fighting these things and somebody dies,
right?
And that would leave
Hangman probably dies.
I don't know if Miles Teller is slated for this movie.
That's what it says. He's not. He's he
Not
should be in it also. Is
confirmed,
what they
but
were
they're
saying.
looking to get everybody back, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Hangman and Miles Teller.
I wouldn't kill one of them necessarily. But if you kill somebody, right? The one the story should focus on the person left over, and they're afraid to go back in the air. They're having trouble with it, and Tom Cruise is doubting himself that he can teach these kids, that he can teach these pilots how to fight unmanned aircraft.
Because he doesn't even know how.
Because that's not, so the strategy has to change.
He relies on he relies on the almost not the insecurities. He relies on the mistakes that a human would make for him to win, right?
Yeah.
He relies on the holes that a human brings to it. But how do you have hope dealing with something that can think so much smarter and faster than you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be an interesting story.
They have to have a guy. They have to have a man on the ground that pours coffee in the control panel. Like we saw with Mecha Godzilla.
Oh my
god! That just destroys it short circuits the AI by pouring coffee into the
human element
board.
In that was terrible. I just watched Godzilla King of Monsters the other day.
Yeah.
And the while the human element is still not good, it's linear and it's better than.
That's what I'm saying. They did a huge jump from that to Godzilla vs. Kong. Like a huge jump from King of Monsters to Godzilla vs. Kong that didn't make sense in my mind.
Yeah.
It was like instantly they're like, we've done these couple pretty decent monster films. Now we're just going to do it completely different and try to make it seem like Avengers but monsters and with real bright colors that are kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna explore, like we're gonna make technology super super advanced in this next one, and we're gonna go to Inner Earth and we're gonna explore all that. It's like, where was the other films that needed to come before all this? It's silliness. This is the biggest problem I have. And some people looked at me like, hey, that's crazy. Godzilla vs. Kong was awesome, but I'm like, watch the other films again.
Yeah.
Not to go on a tangent, I guess.
But no, I wouldn't mind another Top Gun movie. Honestly, I like jets. I like, some military. I like some freedom.
Well, listen, if we're talking about in Hollywood, they are always doubling down on stuff that works. Prequels, sequels, and remakes. What's the biggest thing that works? Top Gun. This is like the only one that makes sense for you to double down on. Do you think doubling down on so much crap right now?
Do you think they will give it the time to become a good movie, though? Because I think, and we talked about this before, of like the fact that COVID was a thing gave Top Gun the time to be what it is.
Maybe.
That's a possibility.
Well, I'm saying, will they allow a third one to do that? Because, they were going to release it back in, I think, 2019, I'm pretty sure. And it didn't come out till 2021 because of COVID.
Yeah.
But how does that make it a better film?
They had time to like work on it and any mistakes, or, we had Tom Cruise saying, you're going to make us go all to lockdown. No, the
right.
Well, that was from the set of Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible
Part 1.
Well, I think I don't. I get what you're saying, Josh.
Yeah.
But I think, and there's definitely merit to it. It's like, are they going to kind of rush the job because they want to make another blockbuster hit? I think they can do it. As long as they're not trying to do like the Marvel thing where it's like we make a movie once we put out 3 movies a year. They work on these movies for about a year, maybe less. And just, cookie cutter.
But let's think about this for a second. What recent, in the past 15, 20 years, What Tom Cruise movie has been bad?
The Jack Reacher films.
The
Those
second
weren't
one.
Or
bad.
Jack Ryan.
No, that was
Ghost
Reacher.
Reacher. You're
That was
right.
Jack Reacher.
They weren't
The
bad.
second Jack Reacher movie
The
wasn't
second one.
good.
And then also, like, what was the America one? Something in America that he did. There was a couple that, like, aren't that memorable.
But
Mhm.
we also have films like Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, but that feels like a
That's
long
good.
way off now.
No, it was like 2012, dude. Edge of Tomorrow was not that long ago. It's just about 10 years.
That's a hot
11
minute.
years. How long is
And
2012?
though it may not feel like it, Cruise is getting older.
Yes. As much as he tries to hide it.
Oh yeah, he's
Getting
getting
older.
up
But in
there.
Maverick, he had his shirt off with his abs
And-
playing with the young boys on the beach.
But also that that was probably that scene had probably also been filmed about
2019.
several years before the movie
In
actually
2019
dropped.
or 2018. That's when it happened. But
So, now we're 2024, we're 5 years off of that.
how old is he? Tom Cruise.
58.
No, you're wrong. Tom Cruise is 61.
Oh, well,
He's turning
I wasn't
62
that
this
far off.
year. This
Mhm.
July, he's turning 62.
Gee.
He's an old boy.
Yeah, he is.
I to just kind of circle back, I think they could make a good movie, but they need to give it time to make a third one, and it'll be fun. But that's what Top Gun movies are. They're fun flying movies. They're not.
Yeah.
Don't politicize it. Don't anything like that. Just give us America and
America.
fun times
And
with-
just some
Miles.
simple story and character work.
Yeah,
right? The
like
character
yeah.
work.
A
The
third
character work in
romance.
Maverick. The
you know?
character work in Maverick was
Not a
really
third
good
romance.
between him and Miles Teller.
Mhm.
Just some simple emotional character work.
If you have to throw romance in there, give Miles Teller the romance. Don't give
Yeah.
Tom.
No, give it to Tom. Tom is at the fun golden years of a romantic.
No. They established in the last one that he's committed to Jennifer Connelly.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so we can bring back in Jennifer Connelly, but I think it's more fun to explore, like, what does the love life look like for this older guy with a daughter and this woman who has a daughter. That's more fun to me than just being like,
no.
let's tell another young person like hot
Okay,
body story.
expand
You know what
on
I'm
that,
saying?
but then if you have to have a new love interest, give it to Miles, is what I'm saying.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. How many years of Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible have we gotten since the third movie, his wife? Like, every film past this has motivated the fact that he still very much loves his wife, but he
Mhm.
can't be with her and he can't even be around her for her safety,
Right.
since the third film, because it scared him so bad. And so it works. She's not a part of the films much, except for what is it? Fallout. She's in Fallout a good
Mhm.
bit, but that was just by happenstance. But they've lingered on that for like 5 movies at this point.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Well, I guess
don't know.
that's what we think about the new upcoming Top Gun movie. I threw the Patreon in here. Hopefully I have the right Patreon to thank.
Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter.
Yes.
If you guys want to join the Patreon and support us here on this year, 2024, we're making content for you guys. So go support us. You got a lot of stuff over there in the Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter.
Yeah.
So
What?
there was a film that I had watched recently. Did I already tell you guys about some of the? It might have been. We might have already talked about this, but did I talk to you at all about that Shrinking show on Apple TV Plus?
Is that the
No.
one with
The guy.
Jason.
Yes. Yes.
What's his face?
Yes. That guy. He's a lot. His characters are in that film. That show is much different than any other character I've seen him in,
Hmm.
and it's not half bad. I wouldn't say it grabs my attention a really big way, but it's kind of like this Ted Lasso show, that
Mhm.
it's just done well and it's engaging for like that adult comedy, wholesome kind of story. It's like
Mhm.
everyday life. Why do you think that, especially Apple TV Plus, and I feel like Netflix in some fashion is doing it, but probably more with like the young they them crowd? Why are we getting into this everyday adult comedy kind of genre? Like since we saw with Schitt's Creek, it there's all kinds of new shows that are branching off of that are saying like this is very adult, but it's also comedy and it's also kind of like real life. You notice this trend at all? Am I the
Well,
only one noticing this?
no, and it's not. It's not an unfamiliar trend either. There's always sort of been uh, TV comedies um, for adults. I mean, going all the way back to Taxi with Danny DeVito, and
Yeah.
then you had shows like Cheers, you had Friends, you had Seinfeld, Frasier,
Yeah.
and then you moving more into nowadays like The Office. But there's always been
I'm
the
talking
Office.
about this year, this year
Oh,
and
you're
last
talking
year.
about this? Well, you mentioned why.
Well, I'm saying, but there's an overabundance of the R-rated everyday comedies and
Mhm.
a underabundance. Like I don't think I've seen like a really decent comedy since New Girl. That's more of the PG-13 vibe.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Not
agree.
really.
I agree because like New Girl and The Office and Parks and Rec, and I would
Those
even
were those
throw
were
in
13,
Community.
14 years ago,
Yeah,
15
these
years ago.
shows are
Old.
old, and you're right. They were more kind
Everything
of
on these streaming
everybody
platforms
audience.
everything on these streaming platforms are all R-rated.
Hmm.
Some of them might
They
not have nudity, like, sexy nudity, but they definitely have, like, the cursing, so the F word is very present constantly,
Hmm.
and that instantly makes it rated R, right?
it does it does seem like there's kind of a gap that's missing there where there's
There
the
used to be an
older
abundance in that
thing,
gap,
and then
right?
there's also like a lot of younger stuff where you have like a younger crowd, more teen crowd show, if that makes
But
sense what I'm
Yeah.
this
saying.
is what the teens are watching, which is what I'm saying, like, did they just scrap it and say, "Hey, we don't need to create content like this anymore for a specific age," because, I don't know, 11-year-olds are cursing just as much as any adult.
Well,
Is that
I think they're looking at the numbers, and then I think the numbers are showing that the
Yeah.
on people that grew up on The Office and on Parks and Rec are probably the millennial crowd, probably the most abundant of TV watchers,
Mhm,
and right now they're you know in their 30s, and so it's they resonate with that kind of humor.
Mhm.
So and there's so everybody that's like probably most people watching.
mhm.
That's though that generation has found their entertainment in the streaming services and in online, and so it's a big demographic, and that's who they're trying to appeal to, and I think less so to a younger audience.
I just feel like there isn't any comedies being made without this specific way. It's like there's a new way to make a comedy, and it's like we don't have any explicit nudity, but the point of conversations and all of the cursing is allowed. We don't have terrible violence in comedies usually,
Hmm.
so it's like we're changing, and there's nothing that's more of the PG-13 vibe.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
nothing. I don't see
definitely not
anything.
definitely not seeing anything that really appeals to kind of a family crowd. I'm not saying
Yeah,
family crowd
there's
like it
no
needs to appeal to
family.
a family, but a show you could turn on with your grandpa and your dad and your teenage daughter. Like you could turn on Psych for anybody, basically.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
anybody. We don't have those anymore.
Mm-mm.
Even the super popular Schitt's Creek. There
Mhm.
was a lot of people that watched it, and there's a lot of people that also didn't watch it because if we're being honest, for certain people, it's too gay. You know
And
what I'm
it's
saying?
and a lot of the humor is a little bit too raunchy for
A little too raunchy. And it's a lot of cursing. And so if you
yeah,
try to say
for
like,
everybody.
we don't want my 9, 10-year-old to watch this,
Mm-hmm.
then what are you turning on? You're not turning on anything right now. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing
No.
right now that you're
Well,
turning on.
I mean, you are, but you're turning on like
No, you're
a
not.
Older
a lot
stuff.
cheesier like kid stuff.
Well, yeah,
Like,
you have to go back. You have to go to
Mhm.
you have to look back. There's nothing current anymore.
mm-mm.
It's either made for kids and you got the Disney Plus freaking Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which when you
Mhm.
watch it, it kind of feels like this isn't for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's rated R style comedy
Mhm.
and satire. Where's the middle ground? It's just like they expected you're either young and you have to watch this, or I don't know, you went from age 8 to 9, so now you get all of this adult content. That's what it feels like in some
Yeah, they're watching
capacity,
like
you know?
Cobra Kai, maybe.
There's no middle ground, I don't feel
But
like.
even Cobra Kai feels like it's for a younger
Oh
audience,
yeah, it definitely is. It
Yeah,
especially
it's
with the later seasons.
Mhm.
It feels like for a younger teen audience, nothing's really hitting that middle mark that The Office and Parks and Rec hit.
and I started
No.
all this by using shrinking as an example, but it's just the most recent thing I saw that has like this. It feels like the middle ground comedies, but
Mhm.
what they talk about and the language they use is not middle ground. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So everything feels like this should be everyone in the family of age can
Mhm.
watch it, but now it just feels like this is only for adults.
Yeah.
And it's just it's disheartening a little bit. But I don't know. Just thought I'd bring it up. Just thought I'd bring it up so that people are aware or get your thoughts on
I
the
mean, I
matter.
agree. I want to see more TV show comedies that everybody can watch.
Yeah, that I can watch with someone and not blush, you know?
Mhm.
Because they're talking about boobies or something.
Mhm.
Just over here blushing because
Well, I have a daughter now. As she starts learning words,
that is
Yeah.
you're thinking about all this because you're thinking about your
well,
daughter.
as she starts
You're such
learning
a dad.
words, we're not going to be able to watch anything. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you got to be careful what you turn on.
exactly, and everything. There's no options for me. I either feel like I'm watching kids shows, or I have
Mhm.
to watch
Or
old stuff.
porn.
Right, right. It's like I just wanted a few giggles, and this person's naked. You know,
That's not funny.
it's not funny. It's a totally different type of emotion. Let's roll into the next bit, Joshua. What do you got for us?
So it's funny. Earlier, you guys talked about, not on this podcast, but the pre-show. You guys started bringing up, Star Trek, because that's my next segment.
Okay,
Aha.
wonderful.
Ah.
Getting right
Um.
back into it.
So they've been talking about Star Trek for a little bit, or like it's kind of been in the background, but
Mhm.
there's just been a little bit of stuff touched on this week. So you can bring up that article that I
All right.
have.
Let's see. What are we looking at here?
So scroll down.
Okay, first it says Paramount expands Star Trek universe with new film. Andor's Toby Haynes. Who did Toby Haynes play in Andor?
He
I
didn't
think
play.
you're
He
talking
was like
about directors.
the director.
Hold on.
Of
Tap to
Directors and
direct
producers.
with Seth Graham Smith writing. Okay, hold on. Let me see if
Yeah.
Toby Haynes was the creator of Andor or what he was involved with. Because
I'm pretty
if
sure he
this
was
is
he was directing it.
well, it's a bit weird with let's see. So Toby Haynes is the director, but not the creator of Andor.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
Yes.
no. Tony Gilroy is the creator, and Toby Haynes is one. Is it one of the directors? Sorry, let me share this as well with you guys because I'm on IMDb.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out before we jump into it. I want to know Toby Haynes first.
Okay.
Is that okay with you guys?
Well, look at his directorial credits.
Let's see. I'm on Andor. I want to figure out what he. Oh, you're actually right. I could go to director credits for Toby Haynes, and then just see. Okay, director, 6 episodes right here. Okay, so he did like half of Andor because I think there's 12 episodes. But that's interesting. I don't really know. I don't know
him.
I don't know this guy very well, but I really like Tony Gilroy's writing, the creator of Andor. I really like the way he crafted it, but he wasn't directing it. So I don't know if Toby Haynes is an incredible director or if he was just using really good stuff, to work with.
Right.
Maybe.
So what are we looking at?
Go back to the article real quick and we can just kind of read through it real.
All right. So exclusive. Even as it continues to develop, the final chapter of its main Star Trek series, Paramount, is looking to further explore the IP. The studio has tapped Toby Haynes to direct a new film that expands the Star Trek universe, with Seth Grahame-Smith penning the script. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot is producing.
Just read the next paragraph, and that kind of sums up what
sources tell Deadline that while the details are being kept under wraps, the project is an origin story that takes place decades before 2009's Star Trek film that rebooted the franchise. Insider added that the final chapter in the main series, Star Trek 4, remains in active development. So, are we going to have like all the same cast members come back?
So
is Toby Haynes directing the final version for Abrams films?
I don't think. But
what
I'm
do you
not
mean by you don't think?
Sure.
It sounds like they're doing an origin story, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be a film that's tied to these films and not the TV show, right?
Oh,
not
no,
the
it's
Paramount
definitely
TV show.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tied to this stuff.
So if we're talking about origins, doesn't the first film kind of do that for us? The first J.J. Abrams Star Trek film?
I don't know what they're doing, but it's definitely a prequel. I know, I'm pretty sure I heard at one point that Hemsworth was going to be more involved with this film than any of the other ones. And we know Hemsworth was the father of Captain Kirk.
Oh, yeah, it was. I forgot about that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I always forget because he's right there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
So I'm thinking, and there's not a lot that we know about it yet, but it's just going to be a prequel. It's not going to be like another,
it's an origin story.
Yeah, it's not going to be an into deep space, another mission type thing. Because
it's setting up, the organization or the fleet for what Star Trek then dives into with the new, the new ships and the new crews and everything, the next generation. So we're talking about how it was set up for the characters we know and love, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But when you say the next generation, you're not talking about Star Trek, the next generation. You're talking about just so everybody's clear.
Yeah,
he's not talking about the show, the next generation. Though I would be interested to see, because the casting for the first Star Trek movie for all the characters was really good.
Oh yeah,
all of the actors really kind of embodied the characters that were in the first Star Trek show. I would like to see. I would be really interested to see who they would cast for the next generation. I mean, who would you cast to replace Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard?
The first thing that comes to my mind, who's the guy that
we already did it. We already did. We do the exact same thing as X-Men. X-Men. Nope. Yeah. Nope. What is his name? James something?
No. No,
That's
I mean,
literally
I'm right
what
there with
came to my
Joseph.
mind.
different
He-
actor.
he's
Get a different actor.
Awesome.
He's right here. He's right here. I can see it.
No. They need a different actor.
I don't know
Somebody
who's
who
gonna
embodies
Patrick
Stewart.
Because
Because
no, that wouldn't work.
because Chris
With today's Hollywood, we probably have to find someone with alopecia, right?
Chris Pine really
Oh,
did
yeah.
a really good
He
job
did
as
good
Captain
job.
Kirk. I mean,
Mhm.
really felt like William
everybody did.
Shatner.
Everybody did.
I don't know who you would get to play
The next generation young versions.
to play Patrick Stewart.
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh,
No, he's too young.
Yeah,
I was thinking shave Austin Butler's head, but then I'm like, nah.
he's too tall, right?
No,
well,
he's not too
Patrick
tall,
Stewart's
but
not a short guy, but I don't know.
no.
There's this sort of commanding British presence
Mhm.
that Captain Stewart.
Yeah,
or
because
Captain
he
Stewart,
did do
Captain
a
Stewart,
lot of
yes
Picard.
indeed. Captain Stewart.
Yeah.
that Picard had.
Yeah.
Who's some good British actors then?
Well, there's a lot, but I don't know
There is
any
a
that
lot.
are like Patrick Stewart or could be the,
Mm.
Captain Picard from Patrick Stewart's embodiment of that character. That's what I'm saying. I think this guy James, I can't remember his last name, but who we're talking about.
I'm right there with Joseph.
He's
I'm right
able
there
to
with Joseph.
embody a variety of different characters, and we saw that with Split.
Mhm.
We've seen his version of Professor X as a young man. I think he could do it. Give him a little bit of a
Look.
shaved head with a little bit. Stewart had a little hair on the side, right?
Yeah,
during
he
the
did,
show.
but
Tiny bit.
and McAvoy was good. I just
McAvoy.
we've already seen it.
I don't care. He'll do something different.
Yeah, but it's a different character. So he's playing the same actor he's portraying, but a different character he played. So so different.
What about Tom Hardy? Jude Law.
No, these guys are all too old.
No.
Jude
Jude
Law
Law
could
is
you're
Jude Law
pulling
is
up.
no. Jude Law is the right age, probably about the same age as Patrick Stewart was when he played Picard.
Yeah.
So wait,
Jude Law-
are we doing a prequel or are we doing a remake?
No. If you did the
a
same
remake
thing,
of the Next Generation.
if you did the same thing with Next Generation as they did with the original Star Trek and recast all of the characters for a movie,
So we're just doing recast. I thought we were looking for younger versions of what the Next Generation had. Right?
you're recast. Yeah, you'd be recasting.
No, I
those
mean,
characters.
we're telling the story the Next Generation did, but younger, like a prequel to them.
No.
So we'd have to
No,
get those characters, but even younger.
No.
Mm-mm.
So we're talking
Yeah.
about we just need to recast for the same age. I don't know.
Recast
Maybe a
him.
bald Jude Law
Jude
could do
Law
it.
would be
Jude Law
really
could do
good.
it. Jude Law could definitely do it.
How does
Yeah.
he look bald though? Does he have a good face for balding?
He's he's
Already
basically
starting.
almost bald.
Yeah.
He is? What are you talking
Jude
about?
Law-
You throwing
just
some
type in
shade?
Jude Law hairline.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's see. Jude Law hairline. Let's see. Share this tab. It's looking rough. It's looking rough.
Yeah, you could cast to play.
He got fillers though. He got fillers. Check it out. Yeah, he was going worse bald, and he got it
Yeah, he
filled up
would.
a bit.
I think he would play a good Picard.
a little bit.
He couldn't imagine himself going bald, so he got himself some fillers.
His hair does look pretty good these days.
But
What,
get
with that huge receding hairline? No, it doesn't.
No. Type him as Dumbledore. Jude Law Dumbledore.
Yeah, that's this right here. That's
Well, he had a
Beard
beard.
though. With the beard, it works. With the beard,
Dumbledore. Do you think that looks amazing?
He looks really good, man.
He is gay.
I mean-
You could,
not Jude Law, but Dumbledore.
well, this character right here
I
is
mean,
gay.
So talking about getting back to this show and then this prequel movie, is anybody excited for Star Trek?
I am,
days?
because the Paramount
I am.
show, the one that's been airing, the one that's been rolling out, nobody has enjoyed that show.
Nobody likes. I know that people liked like the last season of Picard. Like people said that the third season of Picard was really good, and that's basically the only good Star Trek that's come out in a long time.
Well, like I said, I enjoyed Abrams when it came out, and then I recently rewatched it because I was like, I remember enjoying those, and then I rewatched them, and I was disappointed.
I still enjoy watching the first one quite a bit.
Oh,
because of the first bit where they're trying to get Kirk.
No, because of all there's a lot of really good stuff in that first movie.
The third one was not as like as good story wise. Character development, I loved it. Where you even talked about this, where they put certain characters together to complement each other good in the third one, but story wise, the third one wasn't as good in my opinion. But I'm still looking forward to a new one because I like these. I like these movies, and you can do as many of these as you want because they're action adventure movies,
right?
But as we said before, I think the market for those are going down. We're interested. It's going away, and we're more interested in seeing new, fresh takes on it, as we talked about in the pre-show, right?
I think again, we have it. Your audience is getting older, and I think that's what happened with Star Trek. Was when the first series of Star Trek came out, the people who were watching it were young. They were young nerds, and then by the time Next Generation came out, all of those young nerds were probably in their late 20s and 30s,
right?
And it was a more thoughtful, logic based, kind of sciencey kind of Star Trek with adventure and less action. And they loved it. They really loved it.
This is going to be your litmus test. Are there any Gen Xers that know how to speak Klingon?
Klingon.
Because if there aren't any, you're screwed. You need to abandon this IP.
The reason people liked that because that was something that the Next Generation made people want to learn. Because it was a different universe in the Next Generation. Not a different universe, but they had made peace with a lot of the Klingons and lot of the other.
Honestly, I want to see more content around that.
And so if we follow the trend, like these movies came out when we were all teenagers and kids and everything.
Yeah.
Is the audience that enjoyed these at an age now where they want more thoughtful science fiction?
Probably not.
I don't think
less adventure and more character work.
Are you talking about our generation or younger generation?
Our generation.
Oh yeah. That was my point with Dune.
Yeah. I think our generation, I think the millennials who kind of grew up on these Star Trek movies are at a point where they want, they want political commentary. They want they want more of that and less of the high octane action adventure.
I'm getting confused by what you're saying.
I want more of it, and just do it for me. Just do it for me.
What I'm saying is, I think history repeats itself.
Okay,
right? The first Star Trek show.
Yes.
The people who watched it were young.
Do you mean the movies?
No. The show. The first Star Trek
the very first show. Okay.
Those kids grew up a bit, and they enjoyed the Next Generation, the show, the Next Generation, because it was more logic based. There was more political commentary, and it was less throw punches, shoot guns.
Yes.
I think our generation, you and me, grew up. The people who grew up on these Star Trek movies, love. When we were younger, we loved this, and these follow like that first Star Trek show.
Okay.
If you did a Next Generation show, right? I think the people who grew up on these movies would be looking more for character commentary, political commentary, and logic-based science stuff, and
like
less
the first did with the Next Generation original
Yes.
show. Okay, I get what I'm following.
Yeah,
there's probably a market for it. And then my kids can watch in the background as a young kid the airing on TV or the streaming of, like I did with the Next Generation. Did you ever see your parents watching the Next Generation when you were growing up? I saw it all the time. at my
Yeah.
grandma's house. We'd go to my
We
grandma's
never
house.
watched Star Trek.
They'd click it on, and they'd be watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was airing nonstop throughout the
we
day.
never watched Star Trek.
Never watched any of it.
Yeah, we watched Star Trek a lot. I mean, I've seen all the original movies and
Well, I just remember as a young kid, I didn't watch the
Yeah.
original movies till I was a little bit older. I watched
We watched some of the movies,
but
some of the older movies.
the Next Generation show was airing when I was little, and I was like 5, 6, and 7 or whatever. Maybe just stopping 6. And I remember it being on all the time. Like you flip through the channels at our grandma's house. It was all you'd always run across like 2 different channels that were showing the Next Generation of Star Trek. You'd leave it there for a few minutes, you know what I mean? And then you'd switch again. So I don't know, you know, it is what it is. They have to make something really good for us to be invested, I think, in like a Next Generation show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So we've got one more segment. We got a small game. I don't know if you can tell, but for everybody that is here for episode 1 of season 15, do we have did we pin down a theme phrase?
Yes, it was from page to projector.
So our theme phrase or season phrase, I guess, is page to projector. We're going from book to movie this season.
Adaptations. What we're doing is we're
book
appreciating.
adaptations.
You'll find little spots throughout the season where we take time to appreciate or enjoy or play a game around or explore book adaptation films, right?
Yeah.
From page to projector. Is it
Go to
work?
the next slide.
Let us know in the comments.
Go to the first slide.
All right.
Right, quick.
Based on a book.
We're gonna call this segment based on a book, or is it based on a book? Maybe I should have put a question mark in there. I didn't even think of that.
Wait.
So we're gonna be playing a quick
Based on
game.
a book?
Wait, did you say this is it based on a book or is it based on a book? Is that what you said?
Yes, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna be looking at quite a few movies here. We're gonna start off really simple. You definitely know the first 2, and then it gets a little harder after that.
Okay.
You're gonna tell me based on a book, not based. Okay, based on a book. Okay, based exclusively on a novel. So there might be some trick questions in here, and you'll understand what I mean by that once we get to them. But it has to be based on a novel that was wrote.
Okay.
By an author. Yeah.
I'm a little. This has nothing to do with this segment.
Okay.
But Joe, is your shirt?
Is that
based on Portal, the game Portal?
No,
No.
it's a camera lens.
It's a camera. No, it's not a camera lens. It's the
Or
camera
it's a camera-
aperture.
Aperture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
sure.
in Portal, the
They
labs,
use an aperture probably.
it's called the labs is called Aperture Labs, and that's their symbol.
There is no. This is an aperture.
Yeah, the
show-
Portal,
The show port or the whatever portal
the video game.
They just took a picture of an aperture and
Yeah,
used
look
the
up
exact same thing.
look up Aperture Labs really quick.
No, we're about to play a game. What about the
look
game?
up Aperture
We got
Labs.
time. Hold
just,
on.
just for a sec. We got a little bit of time.
We got time. but-
Aperture Labs. Aperture Labs Portal, right?
Portal. Yeah,
Yeah, it's already different.
it's the same thing. It's the same.
It's an
emblem.
aperture symbol, dude.
I just didn't know if you
It
just
is.
like grabbed a shirt out of the bargain bin and it happened to be like from the video game Portal.
No.
Nah, what I'm thinking is like, Kenzie's mom's like, Joseph's really into
No,
photography.
I asked for this shirt. I was searching for good shirts I liked on friggin'
wow.
Amazon, and I sent a few shirts to people, and they
Okay.
got them for me.
Yeah, all right. I was just
Solid,
curious.
though.
It's an aperture from a camera. What is the
Yeah.
one from the game? Is it this one? Is it this one?
It's the one probably by
This one?
Aperture Laboratories. Yeah,
That one? So it's already different. This is a ring around it.
it looked similar enough. I didn't know if it was a video game shirt that you had accidentally picked up because it looks like a
Accidentally picked up.
yeah.
You thinking I'm that dumb? Dang.
No, it's like I
mean,
know that
jeez.
aperture is like a camera lens thing, and I know it's also from Portal, and I could definitely see you being like, wow, this is really cool. It's like an aperture, but it's like,
Really, it's not.
Portal trademark.
It
That's
also you also refer to aperture number as f-stop, right?
Oh,
And more
We need to know.
video. Photography refers to it as more of aperture. F-stop is more of for like film, right?
Yeah.
But
Side quest complete. Side quest complete. Let's move on to this
Side quest.
game. Based on a book
based on a
Based
book.
on a-
or based on a book?
Yeah. Go to
All
the
right.
first one. So the
Okay.
first one, you'll understand by the first two, they're pretty simple.
Yes, based on a
Based
book.
on a book.
Give me a yes
Mario
or no.
Posa. Yes.
Yes.
Wait,
Okay,
are we keeping
so-
score? Hold on. We need to keep score of how many we get right. Are there a lot of these?
There's 8 or 9, I think.
Man, that's not competitive enough.
You want me to do like 20? Oh, I didn't.
Yes,
do
for
20.
a good competition, we should have like 50 here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because we roll
Next time
through
I'll
these
do
quick.
50.
We roll
Next
through these
time
quick.
I will do it quick. I mean,
All
I'll
You will do quick.
Are we keeping score?
Yeah. So we both got that one right.
Okay.
Okay.
Josh was
So
saying he only
scroll-
got 8 of these for us. We're gonna get
Well-
through this way too fast. All right. The next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some information.
Is a crime novel by American
An American
author Mario Posa in 1969. You don't have to read the whole thing. I just put all the information there.
Yeah,
I
if you
got
watch
these from
the show The Offer, it's a great show that covers not only this, the writing of it, but also it covers the production of The Godfather.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really freaking good.
Well, it
Offer
doesn't
was
cover
awesome.
the writing. It covers the
It does.
production and then touches on how the adaptation of the screenplay.
Sure. I mean, it alludes to it. There's a scene where he wants to write the book, and then it kind of does a jump in time where he wrote the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's all there. It's really good. Watch The Offer starring Miles
Yeah,
Teller.
definitely. So the next one,
The Princess Bride. Is it based on a book
or not based on a book?
I know why you
yes.
picked this one.
I did really easy ones for the first two just to kind of
Yeah.
you guys understand the concept.
But technically no. I'm
Oh,
just gonna let you know. Technically no.
You're
They
gonna
were-
let him know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you know. Technically
Well-
no. They were written kind of together. He more wrote the book to sort of have
For
a
the
book
movie.
for the movie.
for the movie.
But
Okay.
his idea was for the movie.
But it doesn't matter. Was
Well,
there?
the
is it
answer
based
could
on a
be
book?
no then.
But
The
there is
answer
a
could
book,
be no.
yes. So we can say yes.
Okay, we're gonna say yes.
Yes, technically no, according to Wyatt.
Okay, next one.
And so begins William Goldman's 1937 novel, The Princess
73.
Bride. What did I say? 37? Oops.
37.
1973, The Princess Bride. Tongue-in-cheek fairy tale, which promises true love and high adventure. Goldman's novel is often forgotten due to the widely successful movie adaptation in 1987. Hold on.
Yeah. So
So
it
you're
was
telling me that
quite a
in
while after.
1973, he wrote a book for a movie he had in his head, and that movie wasn't made
Yeah, I
till
think he already had the
1987.
script. I think he already had the
he probably
screenplay
did.
written for the movie.
Probably.
Why it's put up a fight? He's like, I have Princess Bride knowledge.
I do.
If we got any of these facts wrong, put them in the comments down below because why it needs to be proved wrong once in a while.
Once in a
No,
while,
I'm not. You're schooling me on my favorite movie,
dude,
No,
your
no.
head's
Yeah, I
getting a
know.
little
I know
big
that.
for your camera
I
frame.
know this. Okay, it's he was wanting to make this movie, right?
Mhm.
And
William?
so he wrote a screenplay, but then he wrote a book also to go with the movie,
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay.
The next
Go
one.
ahead, Carvel.
Carvel.
Top Gun. This is
Was it
not
based on a
a book.
novel, a book, or not?
I say no. I say no, it was not. All
I'm
right.
also gonna say no on Top Gun.
All right. The screenplay was written by Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr. and was inspired by an article titled Top Gun. Yeah, no
So,
novel.
Yeah, the answer is no because it was an article, not a book.
All right, so right
But
now we're
that's
tied.
interesting.
It's
Yeah.
3-3.
3-3. 3-3. I keep forgetting I need to write a point when I get it right, not when the answer is yes. All right, so 3-3.
Yeah.
There's a very high chance we tie this
You
completely.
just tie it. You tie it. Maybe.
All right. Mel Gibson's Braveheart. Is it based on a novel?
Ooh,
The story of William Wallace is legendary.
it is pretty legendary.
I'm going to say yes. I say yes, this is a novel. It's probably a not very well-known novel.
I don't want to feel like I'm copying you.
Well, I said it first. You can go different if you just feel like if you really aren't sure about it. But I'm saying there is a not super well-known book about William Wallace that with a different title.
I'll just go for
based on.
For S and G's. I'll say no.
Okay, so that we have a difference here.
Yeah.
All right. The story was inspired by Blind Harry's 15th century epic poem. Dang it.
So Wyatt got a point and you got it wrong.
Dang it. I could have thought for sure that this was going to have a book.
I absolutely would have believed that there was like an obscure book.
Dang, it's just based on a poem. Dang it. How is there no book, like full novel about William Wallace?
There's got to be now, but when the movie came out, it wasn't based off a book or anything. So there has to be some stuff now, maybe. Like a biography book, maybe.
Next movie.
Yeah. All right, The Devil Wears Prada.
Yes. This is based on a book.
You know it to be so?
I'm almost positive.
If I go different, then I have to make up ground quick because there's only 8 of these.
Do different though, not because you think, not because Wyatt picked that and you just want to do the same.
No,
say yes with me.
Say
Josh
yes.
Josh is trying to give you a point here.
All right, when I'm more confident about it being a no, I'll say no. But Wyatt's pretty confident, so I'm going to say yes. This is based on a book, okay? Because how many we got 3 more after this, right? Or 2 more?
Sure. I mean, I've lost count, but sure.
If there's only 8 of these, we should have 2 more or 3 more after this. The Devil Wears Prada is a 2003 novel, by Lauren Weisenberg, about a young woman. Okay, so yes. Yeah. So it's 4-5, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 4-5. We got 3 more. That means we could tie up and I could come out ahead. It's anyone's game still. Dang it.
It's when I did this, it was kind of, I was looking up things. I'm like, oh, they're not going to think that that's based on a book, or they'll think maybe it was based on a book, but it really wasn't. And it was hard for me. There's a lot of stuff based on books out there. There's a lot of stuff based on
a lot
books.
more than you know.
Like you wouldn't think this was based on a book, would you?
Not at face value, no.
No. If you watch the movie, you'd be like, oh, it's a funny,
it's a good screenplay.
Well-written movie, yeah.
A well-written screenplay with a unique idea. But no, it's a book. It's a book. You know what? Honestly, most of the best stories told are probably based on books.
Based on books, yeah.
Because a real good writer usually started with the story, made a good story, and the screenplays can follow the story,
Yeah.
All right. Forrest Gump. I say 100% this is a book.
This is tough. Because
I'm saying definitely this
I want to say it could be a book, but I also want to say that this is just like pure movie magic.
Or is it Tom Hanks magic?
Or is it Tom Hanks magic?
Tom Hanks is pretty good as an actor.
I think this is a book. I think this is based on a book.
I'll say no.
Last time this happened. Dang it. Okay, so we're rolling in the deep. Here we go. Forrest Gump is a 1994 American comedy drama film directed by. It's based on the 1986 novel.
Yep. So it's tied now. You guys are tied.
So 5-5.
Wrong.
5-5. What are we
Nice.
sitting at? There's 6. We're on 6, so there's 2 more, I think. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one though. That could have been
a tough one because
and all of these, you did a good job of did a good job of getting these movies where it's like, could it have been?
Right. Could it have been? All right. Okay.
Ooh, boy.
Notting Hill. Notting Hill.
Notting Hill.
I've never seen this film.
You've never seen it.
Julia Roberts.
I hadn't seen it till recently.
Those are some pretty iconic actors.
It's an iconic film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just say no. I'm gonna go with a random guess.
I'm gonna say no too.
It's a random guess. This is probably just a really decently written screenplay comedy rom-com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. They're like, we hit the golden ticket because she was just in Pretty Woman. And I say no. I say no novel.
You're both saying no.
I'm saying no as well. I feel like I would have.
The writer of Notting Hill has never outright said the story was based on true events. Okay, so yeah, it's no.
Yes, no. It's not based on it.
6-6, tied up, boy. What do we got? One more? This is the last one?
I think there might be 2 more. Oh, yes, I think it's the last one.
Yes. This is a novel.
This is a novel.
But we're coming to the end. One of us has to pick different.
No.
We're both confident this is a novel, right?
I'm almost 100%
you guys
certain.
All right. We're agreeing on this one. Fight Club is a 1995 fiction writer. It's based on a 1996 novel of the same name. Yes. So we were both searching.
I remember hearing this somewhere saying that
we probably talked about it.
The novel has a little bit of a different ending.
We probably talked about it. Is that the last one?
Scroll to the next slide. Yeah, that's the last one.
So we tied 7-7.
Yep. You guys
We both got one wrong.
You know, I didn't even think of this until actually you were going through the slides. It would have been really funny if, because I was pulling movie posters, if on the movie poster it said based on the book this. That would have been so funny.
I was actually looking for that. I was looking for those.
I didn't even think of that.
So when it comes to guessing, and I guessed 100% on Notting Hill. I haven't even seen that.
See, I see, because I remember Devil Wears Prada. I remember
I would have probably
somewhere in the credits saying based on the book. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was looking for to remember if it was based on books. And I was actually down for the last slide to be like, if I'm not sure, we'll just go, one of us say yes and one of us say no. Mm-hmm. That way somebody will win. But I knew Fight Club was based on the book.
So maybe if Devil Wears Prada was at the end of the list, we would have found.
No. If Fight
Club wasn't the last slide.
Yeah, if there was, if it was one of the, if it was like Forrest Gump at the end.
Yeah,
that would have been a good deciding.
I expected Wyatt to do better than you, Joseph. Just
you picked some good movies, though.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? I'm a good guesser. Even if I don't read as much as Wyatt, or sometimes not at all,
Wyatt, at least, even if Wyatt hasn't read the book, he knows, like,
he's aware of things.
Oh, that's a book. Yeah,
but I also am aware of things.
Mm-hmm.
You take me for a fool?
No, I don't.
No, not at all.
Wyatt's more the book person in out of the three of us.
Did you know about Portal?
Now that is one thing I don't know about is video games.
I'll tell you right now, you'll probably get more people if you wear that shirt out. You'll probably get more people being like, "Oh yeah, that's Portal. Aperture Labs from Portal."
Yeah, so I'll just go around saying, "Yep," just so I don't have to interact with them. But if anybody who's anybody, freaking. But Aperture Labs, the reason they have that symbol is because of cameras.
Yeah, because of cameras.
Is it the reason?
Yeah, Aperture.
Freaking, why would it not be?
I love this argument.
What, you think cameras are like, hey, I really like the name Aperture, but that one video game did it first.
Let's
go ahead and create a thing that looks like their symbol for it to go inside the camera lens.
No, they both on, different.
What came first, the aperture or the chicken?
Definitely the aperture came before the game, but
The
I'm
aperture
saying maybe
100% came
in
before
the
the
game they
egg.
didn't realize that.
We think that egg came from an aperture.
I don't know, dude. If someone starts talking to me about video games because they don't know, they're too dense to know that this is a camera symbol and Aperture Labs uses a camera symbol in the game,
Yeah.
then I'll just say, yeah, I'm a video game.
Gonna be like, what'd you think of Portal? Did you like Portal?
It's
You
like, it's the
Portal
best.
2?
It's the best. Actually, I know a lot of people didn't like Portal 2. Some did. Is that a
That
decent
sounds like
argument?
something Andrew would say. Andrew would be like,
It's not a card.
What,
So you
everybody
like
loves Portal 2?
Dude, Portal 2 is awesome. It's got
Okay.
J.K. Simmons in it.
I feel like you're kind of saying 50-50. So like if someone says like, what do you think about fill in the blank 2? You know what I mean? It's reasonable to toss a coin and just say everybody loved it or it wasn't nearly as good as the first one. You know what I'm saying?
You could
50-50s.
say that. You could say maybe some people enjoy the first Portal better, but there's a lot like a lot more puzzles and a lot more story in the second Portal.
Well, like Last of Us. Second one sucked. You know what I mean? First one was awesome. Red Dead Redemption.
I feel like you'd get a good reaction if you said, "Yeah, I enjoyed the second one."
Okay,
You just say, "I enjoyed that." Yeah, I enjoyed the second one, and I enjoyed J.K. Simmons.
Okay, I'll just say those words.
I mean,
just
everybody loves
say
J.K.
I just or you could say like I like the first one better, but I like Cave Johnson. I like Cave Johnson better.
You pulling my leg just to get a laugh for
no.
something you're not going to be there for?
No, I've played Portal all the way through, and I think the second one's better.
So I'll say, yeah, the second one is better in my opinion, and I love Cave Johnson and J.K. Simmons.
Cave Johnson.
Yeah.
And what does Cave Johnson do in the game?
Well, so you fall down into like these deep recesses of the labs, where the robot hasn't created all of these levels for you to jump through.
Okay.
And you kind of get sort of the background and history of the labs. Cave Johnson was like the director of the labs.
Okay.
And he's played by J.K. Simmons. And so as you're walking through, you hear like some of his audio recordings.
What does some of those sound like?
The most memorable one, I think the one that people quote was, when life gives you lemons, refuse them, throw them back. I don't want your lemons. I don't want to. What does he say? When life gives you lemons, I want to create.
When life gives you lemons, throw them back in their face.
He says,
I don't want your lemon.
When life gives, he says, I don't want your lemon. I don't want to create lemonade. I want to create life.
Okay. Yeah, J.K. Simmons.
Pretty iconic.
Yeah, he's an iconic man.
Not quite my tempo.
The man has some of like the most iconic lines
I think
ever.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
He's
Spider-Man. He's saying Spider-Man. He's in like the show Invincible where he's like, think,
Yeah, he's the best.
All right, let's wrap it up, boys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.